Evening, Bhante.
Good evening.
Good evening, Bhante.
Good evening, Bhante.
Good evening, Bhante and everyone.
Yes. Good evening, everybody. Welcome back to the PRC class. Today is day 70. Let's get started our class by paying respect to the Sadhu, Sadhu, Sadhu. Namo tassa bhagavatu arahatu samma sambuddhassa. Namo tassa bhagavatu arahatu samma sambuddhassa. Namo tassa bhagavatu arahatu samma sambuddhassa. Dear Dhamma friends, we started the Uppavaka, the chapter about flowers. Now we can see today, flowers are not only talk about Kusala activities. Today, flowers refer to the flowers of the Mara. So the reference of flowers go here and there. In the first two verses, flowers were about Kusala. That means just as someone who is making a garland picks up good flowers, I would say flowers that are suitable for a garland. Someone who is in one's own life needs to pick up Kusala activities. But today, the same flowers will be discussed in a different way. Let's see the text story. Dhammapada 46. Flowers. Pay no pamang. Pay, not pay. Pay, ph. Pay no pamang. Kaya mimang viditva. Marichi dhammang. Abhi sang buddhano. Marichi dhammang. Abhi sang buddhano. Chetvana marasa. Papupakhani. Adassanang machu rajasa gache. Today we can see lots of H aspirates. That means you have to place an emphasis about H sound. It's not just C, it is ch. And here not pay, it's pay. Once again, pay no pemang kaya mimang viditva. Marichi dhammang abhi, not abhi, abhi sang buddhan. Abhi sang buddhan. Chetvan marasa papupha khani. Adassanang machu rajasa gachi. All right, so then we will, as usual, ask from the groups. So group 1, anyone? Group 1. Who would like to read this part? Yes, Pauline, please.
Hello, Bhante, Sukihotu.
It's okay.
Inu kapamang kaya mimang viditwa marichi danam.
Marichi dhamma.
Marichi damang abhisambudano. Chitwana marasa papupakani. Adasanang machu rajasa gache.
Okay, great. And group 2. Yes, Kim, please.
Thank you, Bhante. Penu pamang kaya mimang viditwa. Marichi damang abhisambudano. Chetwana marasa papu pakani adasanang machura jasa gache.
Can you read the third line again? Chetwana.
Chetwana marasa papu pakani.
Papu Perkani. Interesting. Yeah, great.
Thank you.
Okay. Next is group 3. I think there are two, Tisitan and Beeling, who would like to read. I don't know.
Oh, I'm in group 6, Bhante.
Group 6. Okay, you have time. Yes. So then I ask Beeling, please go ahead.
Thank you, Bhante.
Yes.
Penu pamang kaya mimang viditwa. Marici damang abi sambudano. Cetwana marasa papu pakani. Ada sanang machura jasa gache.
Okay, great.
Thank you.
And group 4, yes, KB on.
Thank you, Bhante.
Yes.
Penu pamang kaya mimang viditwa. Marici damang abi sambudano. Chetwana marasa papu pakane. Adasanang machu rajasa gache.
Okay, great.
Thank you.
And group 5. Yes, Melinda, please.
Thank you, Bhante.
Yes.
Penu paman kaya minmang viditwa marichidamang abhisambudano chetwana marasa papupakani adasanan machu rajasa gache.
Okay, great.
Thank you.
And now
Thank you,
group
Bhante.
6. Tisitan, please. You can unmute your.
Yeah.
Yes,
Yeah,
yes.
thank you. Penu pamam kaya mimam viditwa. Mari chidamam adi sambudano.
Abi.
Abi sambudano. Chetwana marasa papu pakani. Adasanam machara jasa gache.
Okay, great.
Thank
and
you.
Group 7, yes. Group 7. Oh, yes. Yes, please, Susie. Yeah.
Thank you, Bhante.
Yes, please.
Penu pamang kaya mimang viditva. Marici damang abi sambudahno. Cedvana marasa papu pekani. Ada senang machura jasa gache.
Okay, great. And group 8, last group. Yes, Doris, please.
Thank you, Bhante.
Yes.
Panu pamam kaya mimam viditwa. Mari chidamam abi sambudano. Chetwana marasa upa pakani. Ada sanam machura jasa gache.
Okay, great.
Thank you, Bhante.
Then we will open the reading for others. We will start with Chong Paklam. Yes.
Thank you, Bhante.
Yes.
Penu pamam kaya mimam viditwa. Mari chitamam abi sambudano. Chetwana marasa papu pankani. Ada sanam machura jasa gache.
Okay, great.
Thank you, Bhante.
Yes, Chupin. Yes.
Good evening, Bhante. Penu pamang kaya mimang viditwa.
Marisi damang abisambudano, Cetwana marasa papupakani, Adasanang macurajase gace.
Okay, great.
Bhante.
And then moving, yes.
Good evening, Bhante.
Please, evening.
Penu pamang kaya mimang viditwa. Marici damang abisambudano. Citwana marasa papupa kani. Adasanam macura jasa gaci.
Okay, great.
Thank you,
And
Bhante.
then main.
Penu pakmang kaya mimang viditwa. Mari citamang abisambudano. Cekwana marasa papu pakani. Adasanam makcuras jasa gace.
Okay, great.
Bhante.
Seri.
Sukihotu Bhante. Penupamang kaya mimang viditwa. Maricidamang abisam budaino. Cetwana marasa papupa kani. Ada sanang macuras jasa gace.
And then we have Melin. Yes.
Good evening, Bhante.
Good evening.
Penu pamang kaya mimang viditwa. Marici damang abisambudano. Citwana marasa papupa kani. Ada sanang macura jasa gaci.
And Susan. Yes.
Thank you, Bhante.
Yes.
Penu pamam kayamimam viditava. Marichidam mam abisambudano. Chetvana marasa papu pakani. Adasanam machura jasa gace.
Okay, great.
Okay.
And Ochuo. Yes.
Good evening and thank you, Bhante.
Yes.
Penu pamang kaya mimang viditwa. Maricidamang abisambudano. Cetwana marasa papupakani. Adasanang macura jasa gace.
Great. And
Thank you,
CH.
Bhante.
Good evening, Bhante.
Evening.
Penu pamang kaya mimang viditwa. Mari citamang abisambudano. Citwana marasa papupakani. Adasanam macura jasa gace.
And then Lisa.
Thank you.
Yes.
Thank you, Bhante. Penupanam kaya mimam.
Penupamang.
Penupamam kaya mimam viditva. Maricidamanan apipsambudano. Chetvana marasa papu pakani. Adasanam macurajasa gace.
Okay, great.
Thank you.
And then Margaret.
Thank you, Bhante.
Yes.
Penu pamam kaya mimam viditwa. Mari cidamam abisambudano. Citwana marasa papu pakani. Ada sanam macura jasa gace.
Okay, great.
Thank you.
And then Chong. Yes. Jenny, please.
Good evening, Bhante. Penu pamang kaya mimang viditwa. Marici damang abisang budano. Cetwana marisa Cetwana marisa marasa papu pakani. Ada sanang Machu Rajasa Gache.
Okay, great.
Thank you, Bhante.
Yes. Right. Anybody else who would like to read? Yes, Corina. Yes.
Good evening, Bhante, brothers and sisters.
Yes. Good evening.
Pinupanam kayami
Penupamam.
Pinupanamam.
There are two M. Penupamam.
Petupamnam.
No,
Right?
I mean, when you read that part, you can go a little slowly. Penupamam.
Pinupamang kaya
Yes.
Pinumamang kayanimang vidita vidita
Viditva.
Pinupamam kayaminam viditwa marichidanam
Dhamma. Marichi Dhamma.
marichidanam mang. Is it mang? Marichidamang
Marichi Dhammang.
marichidamang abisambut ano
Budhano.
Buddhano Chitwana marasa papupakani
Papupakani.
Papupakani Adasanam Machurajasa Gachi.
Okay, great.
Thank you.
Okay, and then yes, him, please. Yes.
Okay. Pinupamam kaya mimam viditwa. Marichi damam abisam budano. Cetwana marasa papupakani adasanam machurajasa gache.
Great.
Thank you, Bhante.
Thank you. Okay, anyone else who would like to try? All right, so then we are going to discuss the stanza numbers. Penupamang kaya mimang viditva. Marichi dhammang abhi sang budhan. When you read Pali, you don't have to rush. Take your time, right? You know, section by section. Chetvana marasa papupakani adasanang machu rajasa gache. Okay, what does this stanza talk about? You can see the flowers. Flowers are here. Papupakani. But what does it say? Knowing this body is like form, fully awake to its mirage-like nature, cutting off Mara's flowers, one goes unseen by the king of. That means we have to hide from the Mara, right? Is it possible to hide from the Mara? That's a different discussion. We will discuss that somewhere in this class. Okay. There are two things that the Buddha is asking here with regard to the body and its simile. As you can see here, form and then the mirage. There are two similes that were given about the body. One is about the functional nature of the body, what you can see about the body. The other one is what is happening to the body. What is the body and what is happening to the body? What is the body is given in the simile as a form, and what is happening to the body is given as a mirage. Let's see how to separate out this part. Pena is one word. Upamang is another word. Now these are combined. Pena, upamang. Upamang means referred, or I would say related, compared. Kaya. Kaya, imang kaya. Imang kaya, this body is like a, or is compared to the form. Having known, viditva means, this is what we have to do. Having known that this body is like a form, or is like form. Can you remember any other Pali reference about form? Somewhere else. Pena pindu pamang rupang vedana upulupama marichi upama sanya sankara kadalu. So another stanza about the 5 aggregates. It says that pena pindu pamang rupang. It is said that the body is like a fraction of the form. Actually, we cannot understand this particularly if we don't know the story. The story also has to go with this. Maybe I can narrate the story a little earlier today, so we can go into the Dhammapada. There was one monk who thought he would go to a forest to deepen his practice, his meditation practice. So he met his teacher. He got some, what do you call, kammattan. Is this word new to you? Kammattan, objects of meditation. Right? We approach a teacher and ask teacher, please observe me, and then the teacher observe him. And then after some time, having known the character of the student, teacher prescribed a meditation. That is how meditation works. Otherwise, not that you early morning, you think, today I'm going to practice this and that. If you want to have a continuous meditation, it's good to have a teacher's, I would say, supervision in a way. But for a metta meditation, anapanasati meditation should be okay. So this monk, he went to the forest, and then he could not even achieve, even barely achieve what he wanted to achieve. So then what happened? He returned. Now he is returning now. When he was returning from the forest, it's a pity that someone went to the forest and even couldn't feel the stages of, I would say, the progress of the meditation, right? Now, when you think about when you happen to go to a forest or maybe that kind of a place, you think that more progress should happen to you, right? This is what the commonplace, our normal perception is that. But it might not work for some people. It is not because of the place that you are going to develop progress in your meditation. It might be the wrong instruction, might not be the proper instruction issue. So he was coming back. So when he was coming back, he had to cross the river called Achiravati. It's a very famous river in Buddhist stories, Achiravati. So he crossed the river. While he was crossing the river, he took a bath. And then he crossed the river. Then he sat down in front of a tree over there. Now he was looking at the river. He saw how was the fresh water coming, and then how it was flowing. And he saw lots of forms creating in many places in this river. So he was at that point thinking, my body is also like a form, looking at the anicca dukkha anatta perspective. Changes, because of the changes, we have to accept things. If you don't accept, a lot of pain will come to me, others, and because things are changing, and if we don't accept that changes are happening, then we will go through lots of frustration. And understanding this will help me to understand anatta, not self. So he was referring to this anicca dukkha anatta nature of the body as a simile from the of the forms that are being made in the river. Pena pindu pamang rupang. So this body is like a form. That means there are forms happening and then again forms are happening, but it's just a activity, natural activity. Body is also as such. We are being made because of the sankharas, and then we are going through these three things in our life, and also mostly the nature of the sankharas. The sankharas are what make us to be like that. And then pena pindupamang. Now, but here penupamang kaya mimang viditva. Now that is another stanza. It's about the five aggregates. Now here, having known that this body is like a form. Think about the nature of the form. Then, at the same time, when he was walking up to that level, maybe on the road, that place, he was also looking at the mirage on the way. So the functioning of the body is like a mirage. That means we want to follow, we want to take, we want to touch from afar, but as we come closer, we understand that it's a mirage, right? And then we are going away from that particular mirage at that point. So the functioning of the body is like a mirage. We will understand more as we discuss more things in this stanza. But here, it is not having understood. It's called Abhisambudhan. Marichi. We have to learn these two words. Marichi Dhamma. Marichi means mirage. Marichi. Now in the earlier stanza which I said, Pena Pindu Pamang Rupam Vedana. Vedana is like a bubble in the, it's like a bubble, it's like a bubbling thing. Vedana. Vedana Khan. Then Sanya is like a mirage. Sanya. Perceptions, memories are mirages. So here, Marichi Dhamma. Marichi means mirage, but Dhamma. Is Marichi a Dhamma? No, here Dhamma means another meaning. I think I discussed with you Dhamma. Pali word Dhamma has many meanings, right? Some time ago, I think. But here, what would you think to be the meaning? Marichi Dhamma. Take a look again.
Unsubstantial.
Nature.
Marichi Dhamma.
Equal to mirage, that is unsubstantial.
What is that, Sumita? Yeah, what does Dhamma here mean? What would you think?
Phenomena.
Nature.
Phenomenon is one, yeah, that is one meaning of Dhamma. And then
Nature.
nature. This is about the nature. Dhamma has a meaning called nature. So you could say, what is the Dhamma of my life? What is the nature of my life? It is not the doctrine. It is not the teachings of the Buddha. So Dhamma has a meaning called nature. What is the Dhamma of my samsara? What is the Dhamma of the enlightenment? Right? So Dhamma in this context means nature. What are the other meanings of Dhamma? Maybe I could discuss again, but there are some newcomers. What is the primary meaning of Dhamma? Teaching. What is the Dhamma of Christianity? What is the Dhamma of Hinduism? What's the Dhamma of XYZ religions, philosophies, doctrine? Because Dhamma is a borrowed loan word from Hinduism. It's not originally a Buddhist word. Dharma. Dharma is the Sanskrit word. And then, what are the other meaning? Teaching is one meaning.
Righteousness.
Righteousness, that means good and bad definition, right? Here, in particular, Dhamma means righteous or good, wholesome, holistic, life. Right? Dhamma.
How about Bhante, morality?
Yeah,
Dhamma.
morality is also part of it now in that particular definition.
Thank you.
Teaching is number one, then second, wholesome morality.
Truth, Bhante, Satya.
Yeah, truth is another very widely accepted meaning about Buddhist teachings. Truth, right? And then here nature. Are there any other meanings of Dhamma?
Mental state.
Mental state.
Mental state.
Mental state.
Mental state. How do we know that? We know we have 6 sense faculties. The last one is mano, mind, and mind has its objects as Dhamma. It's not Dhamma, okay? Dhamma. Dhamma, because it's not one thought, thoughts. That's why we have a problem when people discuss the mind. In English, the mind, but in Buddhism, thoughts. Mind is just a place. Buddha is not worried about the mind. Buddha is worried about the thoughts. He says, Chitta anupassana, chitta vagga. Take care of your thought. Right? Sabba papa sakarana kusala supasampada sachitta pariyodapana. Take care of your thoughts. Not samano pariyodapana. There's nothing to purify in the mind. Mind is just a faculty only. Thoughts have to be purified, filtered out. We have to just think about, is this a good thought that I want to have in my life? Thoughts are more important. So, Dhamma, thoughts. Any other meaning of the Dhamma? I think you know, there's a very famous definition about Dhamma. Law, universal law. Why many people die together? 100 people die at the same. Why is it? What is that? Is it because of the natural disaster? Is it because of a collective karma they did? 100 people went somewhere and killed many people together? Collective karma. Also, I can say shared karma. Think about one gossiper is giving a call to another person, good person, and spreading the gossip. Yes. Gossiper A has some information about something, and then sharing the information by calling the other person, and then probably sharing somewhere. Now 10, 20, 30, 40, 50 people getting affected by this shared gossiping. Collective karma. Right? Maybe the effect of that collective karma will be deceiving somebody, deceiving some other people who cannot be a part of that group. Right? So then Buddha said, Dhamma niyam. Uppadova tathagitanam, anupadova tathagitanam, titachata dhatu, Dhamma niyam. See? Whether Buddhas are reborn or not, the birth, aging, sickness, death, they are part of the universal law. And then that universal law is also another definition of the Dhamma. Universal law. Remember the story we discussed a few weeks ago. There was someone who offered some dana to the Buddha, and then he followed the Buddha. Somewhere on the way, when he was traveling with the Buddha, somebody shot an arrow, and he died. Then other monks started commenting about the incident. Say, if he had stayed in the house, he would have not died. But because he came with the Buddha, Buddha would have asked him to stay. Then the Buddha said, even I ask him or not, he would die at this time. Very interesting, right? He would die. So things like that happen. Right? A long time ago, I remember there was an incident. There was a lady passed away while reciting Bojjhanga Suttas in a Sri Lankan temple in Canada. And she passed away. while chanting during the Vasa time. Somebody might say, why she came to the temple? She could have stayed rested in the house. But things like that can happen. Because we understand death is inevitable, but the way how we die is a different thing. Are we going to have pain or not? Right? That is a different thing. That's a very individualistic thing. But anyways, universal law, I think it's a very interesting thing. We call it, when you go to Abhidhamma, they talk about this particular thing as Dhamma Niyam. It's a Niyam. It's a universal law. Right? Okay, so then Dhamma has many meanings, multiple meanings. And here it's about nature. Nature of the body is like a mirage. We see it from afar, but when we go near, it's nothing. It's the same thing. But when you look at it from afar, it's so beautiful. But when we go near, it's the same thing. Right? It's the same thing that's happening. This is not to frustrate about your body or other person's body, but giving a certain understanding about the body. Right? Having an understanding about the body is very important. So that can help us to have a Dhamma kind of mind, Dhamma kind of mind which carries wholesome thoughts. Okay. And then, Abhisambudhano, this is interesting. It's not Viditva. Okay. Now here it's Viditva. This part has to understand, has to know. But this part is about be fully awake to the working of the functioning of the body. Just like how we have to understand the mirage. Actually, even when we see I would say, a long road sometimes, if it is a very flat road, sometimes it's very difficult to understand whether it's a mirage or something else. Animals get deceived by this. In some places in Canada, some of the highways, some of the mooses, they jump onto the cars that are, going on the highway because they think that window, that you call the screen, it looked to be some water, so they think there is water, so they are jumping onto the cars. Sometimes they die, or people also die on the highway, right? So then that means animals are highly deceived by this nature. And humans also sometimes get deceived by these things. So what we need to understand is, without frustrating us or without disgusting the body, we rather understand this is happening. This body is as such, it is a mirage. It has the nature of the mirage. Just as the mirage is a mirage, just as the mirage is really a mirage, and then we have to understand the similar with regard to the body. Now, when we are understanding about the body, we have to understand that the body is primarily a composite of 5 aggregates: Rupa, Vedana, Sanya, Sankara, Vijnana. But don't call anybody, hey, Panchakanda A, how are you? Panchakanda B, Panchakanda from here and there. We don't call like that. We respect. Right? We respect all the humans, everybody, even animals. Right? We don't have to see disgusting things to understand the life. We know, yes, this is a human, this is another being, but within his body, this is what is happening. Actually, rather than thinking about the enlightenment, the moment that you understand this particular being also has the 5 aggregates, what could be the propelling, helping thing that is happening in your life? You will cut down on your anger about that person. Normally, we are driven by lots of emotions in our daily life. He did this to me. They did this to me. They are giving me a very tough job. They are killing us, not in a visible way in the company. Right? They are giving me a very, very high sales target. How I'm going to get it? how I'm gonna make it. Finally, I have to let it go. So with all these, what you call daily life situations, what we are doing is that we are not understanding the nature of the five aggregates of everybody. So the moment we understand, no, these people, they have their own ulterior motives, but I need to understand they are driven by own panchakanda. That's why they are doing as such. But just because they are doing as such, I don't have to come up with akusalas. So I think that helps us to become a better person. Rather than you are thinking, you have five aggregates, I can use it for my own enlightenment. Rather than that, we can use it to minimize our akusala happenings, akusala activities that are normally coming to us. Okay, that's about the first two parts. And then, now when we are doing as such, Abhisambudhana, as I said, fully awakened, not just understanding. Maras papuppakani chatvan. Maras, mar, papuppakani. Papuppakani means, it is said that Mara wears a garland. It has flowers. So these are the flowers Mara is extending to the people, sentient beings. So now what is being asked by the Buddha? We have to cut the flowers of our sansaric life. Or maybe cut the garland of the Mara. Will he be happy for that? He will not be happy about it. But in our, because Mara is a manifestation of our own akusalas, right? It's Mara lies in our own akusala life. And also sometimes our meritorious life too. So Mara exists at that point. It is said that cut the flowers of the Mara. Where are the Mara's flowers being placed? How are they going to affect us? It is said that these three worlds, Kama world, Rupa world, Arupa world. Kama world is our what you call realm, which has human, space, heavens. I think we discussed about those things a couple days ago. 6 heavens, and then apayas and human space. So this particular area called Kamalo. Then Rupalo, 16 Brahma worlds, material Brahma worlds. And then Arupa world, 4 Arupa worlds. So Mara governs all these places, realms, in a way that he likes people to be reborn in all these places. So that means either he's putting that garland around us, or he's using his garland to influence, affect our mental states. So Buddha's idea is that, suggestion is, we need to cut it. We need to cut that garland, because of that what you call garland of flowers, we are highly influenced. Now think about how was the flower thing used in the first 2 stanzas. It's about the kusala activities, but here it's about Mara's garland. Okay, maybe we have to discuss about Mara a little bit too, because we have discussed some time ago, but not lately. Who is Mara in the Buddhist teachings? The Buddha said Mara can carry different manifestations. The first one is called Kandamara. Kandamara means, maybe I can send you Kandamara. We did that some time ago, but I just want to repeat. Kandamara. Now, Kandamara means any being who is carrying 5 aggregates. That means all of us are manifestations of this Mara. Because once we are composited with 5 aggregates, we carry the nature of the Mara. Because we are having Rupa, we are having Vedana, we are having Sanya, we are having Sankhara, we are doing good karma, bad karma, and then we have a Vijnana to exist and then to go to other lives. This is the first type of Mara manifestation in Buddhism. That means Mara affects us in 5 ways. Second is Kilesa Mara. Kilesa Mara means whenever you have once you have a Khandamara composite, we carry 5 aggregates, then we are creating good karma, bad karma. Quite often people make akusala, right? Their raw nature, by default, they are making akusala. So then they are also representing Mara in the second place also. It has as a second manifestation, Kilesa Mara. And the third Mara is Abhisankhara Mara. Now, while people are, sentient beings are creating kilesas, akusalas, people are also creating abhisankharas. Abhisankhara means maybe good karma, different other karmas too. There are different karmas. Abhisankhara Mara. The fourth Mara is called Machumara. Machumara means this is mostly taken as our own death, because we carry the 5 aggregates. The end point of our life is the death. So it's not that Mara is trying to let us die. It's that because we were born with the 5 aggregates, we are going to die. The fifth one is called Devaputta Mara. Devaputta Mara is exactly a Deva, as you know, in the Paranimita Vasavati, the highest heaven in Buddhism. He is a Deva. So he is the one who is said to have come to the Buddha in person, and then had a discussion, and then had a certain fight mentally, emotionally, right? Devaputta Mara. Now, how to understand these 5? Once someone attained Nibbana, what will happen to that person? Let's take a look. Does that person who became an Arahant will carry the Khanda after that point onwards? What do you think? It is said that there are 2 stages of Nibbana. One is Kilesa Nibbana. Second one is Khanda Nibbana. That means, let's say you're going to become an enlightened person soon, one day. Then you are, what you are trying to overcome? You are overcoming all the akusalas, right? At the same time, all the kusalas. Kusala, akusala will not be done after that point. But the existing kusalas will still come. Existing akusalas will still come in a way. What about your body? Are you free from sicknesses at that point? Once you become an enlightened person, are you free from, do you have an immunity from health issues? Will you?
No, Bhante, no.
No. If not, then the Shakyamuni Buddha would have not been sick. Arahan Mahakashyapa in the Bojjhanga Suttas would have not been sick. Arahan Mahamoggallana would have not been sick. So that means body is still the same, because body is a part of the Mara, is Kanda Mara. That's why the moment an Arahant is dying, that's the moment they are entering into the Kanda Nibbana. That means we call it, they are free from their body as well. Right? So the Nibbana is taken as 2 ways. One is Kilesa Nibbana, the other one is Kanda Nibbana. Now, the reason why I brought up this Arahant's situation to this is that till we go to that kind of level, we still have to struggle with Kandamara, because we are still part of Kanda, still part of Kilesam, still part of Abhisankhara, still part of Machumara, because Arahants and all these, they would not die again, right? And then all these are monitored by the Devaputta Mara. Okay. Now,
but Bhante, can Bhante explain again the Abhisankhara? That's why I didn't catch it.
Yeah, Abhisankhara
Thank
means
you.
Abhisankara means the nature of our nature of engaging in kusala akusala activities. Now, Kilesamara means our nature of engaging in akusala activities primarily, but here Abhisankara means the nature of any sentient being to engage in any kusala akusala activities. So it is a broader form of Kilesamara. So these
Thank
are
you,
my
Bhante.
questions.
Thank you. Thank you.
All right, then we are going to text again. Okay, so we are supposed to cut off the Mara's flowers. But can we do it just because we want to do it? Just because we want to wish it happen? It won't happen. Then we need action. Actually, we need an action plan. Sometimes we talk a lot of high-end Dhamma, but there is no action plan. Right? It's like an instant Dhamma hit. Oh, yeah. Akusala, right? But how to do it? Then we are going through challenges. There's no action plan. How to do it? How to start it off? Sometimes we start also, but we cannot maintain it for different other reasons. So, in order for us to deal with the Mara's 5 manifestations, what we can do is to stop clinging to the 5 aspects. The moment we are developing a certain, what you call understanding, clinging can happen anytime towards the 5 aggregates. Then we are good, we are on the safe side. We are in the good hands of the Dhamma. Right? That's why the Buddha said in the Dhammacakkappavattana Sutta, Jatipi Dukkha, Jarapi Dukkha, then all these painful things, Piyehi Vippayogo Dukkho, company with the, what do you call, separation from the loved ones is a pain. Then union with the people who we don't like is also a pain. And then at the end of the Dhammacakkappavattana, that particular area, Buddha says, if you don't still understand what is dukkha, pain, a good word, right? I think pain is better than suffering, right? What do you think? When you discuss about the in Pali word dukkha, it's better to say pain because pain is a very normal word to anybody. Right? Nobody would like to give a philosophical rhetoric about suffering. That's a kind of a little bit daunting word. But pain, yeah, pain. Even doctors ask, on a scale of 1 to 10, can you rate your pain? It's easy. It's 8. You understand? So pain is a very comfortable, even though we don't like it, but it's still a comfortable. Then the Buddha said, if you don't still understand the pain, let me tell you, in brief, Sankittena Panchupadana. This is the last and then the summary of the dukkha in the Dhammacakkappavattana. What did he say? Sankittena, in brief, Panchupadana Kanda. All these pains are arisen, starting giving us lots of problems because, not because they exist, but because we develop a clinging towards these 5 aggregates. If we stop, reduce the clinging to the 5 aggregates, everything should be okay. Rupa Kanda is okay, no problem. But the moment we develop the clinging to the Rupa Kanda, will be the problem. Feelings are okay. We cannot just live without, feelings. Okay? Just like people who are taking painkillers all the time. But feelings are okay. The problem is the moment you develop a clinging upadana towards your feeling, that is the starting point of the pain. Sankara is okay, but we need good memories. We need good memories. We need good perceptions. Nobody would like to be in a dementia state of mind. Nobody would like to be in an Alzheimer's state of mind. Nobody would like to be in a psychologically dysfunctional state of mind. Everybody would like to cherish their memories with their loved ones, their past, now and the future. Then sanya is okay. The problem is the moment we develop a clinging upadana with regard to our sanya, that will be the starting point of pain. Sankhara, good karma, bad karma, of course, we need good karma. That's why many differences have happened in our life. Health, happiness, well-being, good people, kalyana mittas, access to the Dhamma, especially all the good, comfortable things that you can see. But then, where is the problem? The problem is the moment you develop a clinging towards your sankhara. Let me ask you a very interesting question. Can someone develop a clinging, upadana, towards the kusala activities? Is it possible to create a clinging towards the sankhara khanda with
Yes.
regard to the kusala activities?
Yes, Bhante.
It can happen. How can it happen? If it is a good thing, how can it happen? It's a good thing. Because dana activities, sila activities, bhavana activities, all the other activities are there for us to reduce our clinging. But if these activities are going to be worked with a certain clinging, dana means only for this place. Sila is only for this particular place. Bhavana is only at this place. Only this particular bhavana. You have to be open to all these kusala activities. Kusala means kusala. So that means clinging can also work with the kusala activities. But actually, once you have clinging towards kusala activities, that kusala activity supposedly is no longer a kusala activity. You don't know. You think it's a kusala activity on the surface level, but within that state of mind, it's not a kusala activity. It's kind of a half-half activity, hybrid activity. There are many stories about this thing in the Buddhist texts. Right? So we have to be very careful. That means clinging can come to our kusala activities, although that kusala activity will not any longer be a kusala activity, even though we don't know about it. We have to be very careful. A kusala activity definitely a clinging. Now, say for instance, there is someone who has a frustration about life with somebody. Then, why did this frustration arise? It's because of a past incident, right? And then there are many other things. Definitely, all our apusalas are propelled by, espoused, supported by clinging. Now, let's say someone is to come to somebody asking, I have a lot of anger about my life. Lots of anger. I easily get angry, but I follow a lot of Dhamma things, but I easily get angry. So then, okay, we can easily say, go read the Metta Sutta. Practice meditation on metta, but still I'm not getting that beneficial in that particular state of mind. Why is it? You have to look at what kind of anger is this? What are the contents of this anger? Why is it happening before you touch the metta meditation? Of course, you may be embarrassed to share it with somebody, but if you really get to the bottom of your anger, you will see there was something happened in the past, and now you are so unhappy to accept that, and you have formed a certain upadana about that particular event. But the moment you cut down that upadana, you don't need meditation as well. That kind of a serious meditation. You're good. You're healthy. But you have to do it in a very careful manner, because sometimes when people get to the bottom of their own personal events, they get more angry. Why did this happen to me? So you have to do it with some supervision of a good teacher. Again, meditation teacher. So anyways, sankhara. Then vijnana. Is consciousness a bad thing? We should have a good cognition. We have to cognize things. Even the Buddha said you can do more good karma by cognizing properly. Now, say for instance, take 20 years back of your life from today. That means 2005, 20 years from now. 2005, January 9. I think some of you may have been following Dhamma even at that time, 20 years back. Some of you were not. But if you happen to read Dhammapada or a very simple Dhamma teaching at that time, but when you again look at it by now after 20 years, why you are having some different insights about that particular state of that particular teaching? Why is it? It is because you have been developing, you have been growing in your life, your mental states, experiences, emotions, your personal teaching moments, so that you learn it much better than 20 years before. What does it mean? We need a good consciousness. And that consciousness has to grow, evolve. Otherwise, you simply get old. Right? We don't have to simply grow old, right? We have to grow in our life. Better than getting old in the body. So, anyways, so that means the Buddha said the moment you start to understand Upadana level of you, Upadana state of your mind with regard to Panchakanda, you are going to minimize, reduce probably 80-90% of your pain, unnecessary problems. Okay. So that's what Mara doesn't like. If you do that, he never likes it. Right? Because he wants us to be clung to 5 aggregates. So then how to cut off his flowers? We can cut off his flowers by understanding the moment where we are clinging onto our 5 aggregates. So it is said in the Dhammacakkappawala Sutra, Sankittena pancha upadana kanda dukkha. All these pains are happening, driving us because we, maybe unwillingly, these are happening, creating upadana. Okay, last one is going to be Adassanang Machurajasa Gacche. Adassanang means invisible. Machurajasa. Machurajasa means king of death. This is what you call by Machumara. Machumara. Machumara is another manifestation we have just because we are sentient beings. So it is said that the moment you understand the clinging in our life with regard to 5 aggregates, that is how you are going to be unseen by the Mara. That means we can hibernate. Can we hibernate from Mara? You know, it's hibernation. Normally there are different things. If you have lots of mosquitoes, they sometimes they put a sticker and then you are hiding from the mosquitoes. Can we do something like that for the Mara? No. We have to understand our own clinging. That is how we are going to be unseen by the Mara. So the story was when the monk was looking at the Acharavati river and how the river, some areas of the river were forming foam. And also he looked at what was happening on the way to that Acharavati river, his walking. He saw lots of mirage areas. Then he was trying to understand life with regard to the 5 aggregates and the clicking and all that. Then the Buddha saw this. Then the Buddha encouraged him, please continue the way how you are doing. This is the way that you can really achieve your enlightenment. Then at some point of that contemplation about the forms in the river, Acharavati river, and in the mirage points he saw on the way to Acharavati river, gave him the inspiration to understand life more and more. And then it is said that he became an enlightened person, awakened person, an arahant. Now, the interesting thing is that the meditation objects that he was informed by perhaps his own teacher did not work in the forest. What worked at the end was that what he experienced in his life. Sometimes we are looking for different meditation objects, but finally, what is going to help us could be our own experiences. And this also happens to our normal life. We are going to search many things, but finally everything is going to be successful with something we already have in your house. It's a very small thing, but we think a lot about it, think very seriously. So this particular stanza is about understanding the body, understanding the nature of the body. Thereby, we are going to work on overcoming the 5 aggregates. If the 5 aggregates are affected by clinging, the clinging part has to be overcome. Then you are going to hide from the Mara. Now, the other thing is that why is Mara very visible over here? Mara is connected to our death, right? Now, death is a part of Mara. What is our understanding about the death actually? Now, it's kind of a very difficult word for many people to think about. Death, right? And how to stop the death? It is said that Nibbana is a deathless stage or deathless state. And it is said in the Ratana Sutta, Idang Puranang Navang Natti Sambhavang Viratta Chitta Ayatiki Bhavas Teki in a bija Avirul Chanda Anibbanti Dhira Yatayam Padi Kinang Puranang Navanga Kinang Puranang. All karma have been overcome already. All karma. Kinang Puranang Kinang. Navang Natti Sambhavang. There is no more karma happening for the future. Kinang Puranang Navang Natti Sambhavang. Viratta Chitta Avirulhichan. Viratta Chitta. Arahant's thoughts are unobstructed. And then Avirulhichanda. They have uprooted all the kusalas and akusalas. Nibbanti Dhira Yathayam Padipo. They have enlightened, awakened, just as what happened to the light of a candle. Can you say where the light went after the candle was extinguished or maybe finished? So this is what happens to Mara. Actually, Mara has a big issue. This Devakutta Mara. In many cases, Mara was eyeing on different serious individuals who are really good people. And finally, they somehow managed to make their way to enlightenment. So then he wants to know from the Buddha. He's coming to the Buddha in different disguised forms, asking from the Buddha, where did that person go? And then the Buddha embarrass him sometimes. People like you cannot understand where the awakened people are reborn. Right? So he really wants people to be reborn again and again. So the idea is that this is a little high-ending idea about Dhamma. That means if we really understand our body and the nature of the body, that can help us to stop clinging onto the body, which means 5 aggregates. Thereby, we are going to hibernate from the Mara. We hide from the Mara, and we are in the state of that highest happiness. We can discuss a couple more, but if you have any questions, we can discuss that. Yes, Jenny, please.
Yeah, Bhante, I just want to clarify the consciousness in the 5 aggregates. It is not referring to our sense consciousness, right?
No, it is primarily about our cognition part, but within that, sensory consciousnesses are happening. This is what we call by the ability to cognize is vijnana. It has sensory consciousnesses, Chakku Vinyana, Sota Gana, Jiva, Kaya, Mana Vinyanas. At the same time, the Vinyana that goes to the next life, unless otherwise we are enlightened. So the being able to cognize is that Vinyana. You are asking Mano and Dhamma in that sense, faculty and object. Why is there no Vinyana, right?
Yeah, because I always have the problem of understanding how do we cling to the vijnana, because that's why I try to understand this vijnana. What is it? What is the true meaning of this vijnana?
Oh, Vijnana here means the overall activity of cognition, thinking, or overall activity of thinking. So that has Mano, Chitta, sensory consciousnesses, the Bhavanga, Vijnana, they all are part of it. So how does someone develop a clinging means? We like to have certain thoughts in our life. Even if you take today, you may have been liking certain thoughts to happen, but sometimes we cannot maintain those thoughts. Different other things are happening. So we like certain thoughts to happen. And we don't, say for instance, you are so much about kusala activities. What if you are not going to create lots of kusala activities today? External things that you cannot control, manage, arise. So people develop clinging towards their mental states. Even someone who has been very jealous about somebody, angry about somebody, frustrated about somebody, annoyed by somebody, that person would like to develop a clinging towards that angry state. That's why that anger is happening until the evening, maybe until tomorrow, maybe another for a couple of days, maybe another few weeks, few years. Why? Once you become angry, if you don't know whether you are angry, then you are developing a clinging towards that angry state. You don't want to see the insights about what is happening to you. In the same way, kusala activity also can happen. I like to meditate. It's a thought, and I want to do it every day. I want to learn Dhamma. It's a thought, and I want to develop it. Right? So then, clinging, actually, what is happening to Rupa, Saddha, Gandha, Rasa, Pottabha, Dhamma, finally is clinging to those states of minds. Because form in the eyes will become a thought at the end. That's how we look at it. We see the consciousness, vijnana, creates clinging. Not vijnana. We create clinging to that vijnana. Finally, it keeps going.
Sorry, Bhante, because I think there was one time you refer to samsaric vijnana. Is this the one?
No, there is no particular Pali word that the Buddha used for this vijnana that is going to the other life. He simply uses vijnana. He simply says vijnana. So I use it just to clarify it. Sansaric vijnana. In the implied sense. He simply uses vijnana. Within that vijnana, that is the main thing we have to understand. So when I say sansaric vijnana, you can separate it out. Sansaric vijnana, sensory conscious vijnanas, and then our mind, and then the thoughts. And clearly understand. But he simply used only vijnana.
Thank you, Bhante.
A few questions. So I think we will ask from May and then audience.
Bhante, understand that what you're saying from this Dhammapada verse, it refers to the body, but then you also refer to the nature of the body, and you refer to the 5 aggregates. But nama, rupa, so 4 of it's nama. Rupa is 1.
Yeah, nama rupa is another way to see panchak, 5 aggregates.
There is 5 aggregates, but rupa is not just the physical form. It's also what I'm trying to say for this particular verse. It refers to the body. And he says the nature of the body is mirage-like. But
Ah.
he also therefore link this with the 5 aggregates. But is it that Buddha just, not say Buddha, maybe I'm not too sure, but is it referring to just the fact, the nature of this body? How do we link it to the mind then? Nama and Rupa.
No, Rupa part cannot be understood without the Nama part. Rupa and Nama are interlinked. So when you understand Rupa means you understand Nama part too.
Okay.
But here, the particular monk, he looked at the Rupa part. Thereby, he understood the Nama part too. Otherwise, we have to say, by understanding the Rupa Sammanate Nibbana. How is it going to work? Every enlightenment should include a thorough understanding about the Nama Rupa. That means Nama means Vedana Sanya Sankara Vijnana. Rupa means Rupakkan. So the highlighted part is the Rupa. But through the Rupa, he understood the working of the Nama as well. That's how, because in order to understand Rupa, you should have a Nama. How to understand Rupa without the Nama? Like, let's say I look at the river and then I see the foams are being, bubble or whatever. And I see the mirage. How do I understand? I should have a mind to understand it. Right? So they are supporting each other. But the highlighted part that the monk saw was the Rupa part of the body. But he understood the body with regard to how is it made up from the Rupa Kanda and how the Rupa Kanda is linked to the Nama part. That's why the mirage part. How does the body work? Because what conditions are necessary for body to function? Definitely mind, Vedana Sanya Sankara Vijnana. Yeah, that's how we have to look at it.
Okay. So, Bhante.
Yes, then please.
Bhante, the Khanda Nibbana you mentioned just now, is it the same as Anupadisesa Nibbana? And the Kilesa Nibbana the same as a Upadisesa Nibbana, is it?
Yes, that's right. That is another way of classifying Kilesa Nibbana and Kanda Nibbana. We normally call Kilesa Parinibbana and Kanda Parinibbana. Normally, the Kilesa Nibbana and then Kanda Parinibbana. Someone attains Nibbana fully when that person passed away. Then somebody might ask, then is Nibbana for the next life? Yes, I mean, once you attain Nibbana, but still you are managing your body, it will go to the death. And then till that time only, you will see that I am free from physical problems too. Yes, Anupadisesa Nibbana is another word for the Kanda Parinibbana.
Got it. Thank you, Bhante.
And this, until you come up with another question, this stanza and was particularly given with regard to that particular monk. Different people understand life differently. Now, say for instance, Patachara. Now, in Patachara's story, Patachara lost her husband, 2 children, mother, father, and she lost everything. And then what made her to understand life, although she saw the physical death of her loved ones, was that how the pain actually affected her so much. And then when she looked at a certain place where water comes from a high place to the bottom, lower place, she understood the nature of change at that point. So she was more to the Nama side, right? Her enlightenment was more to the Nama part, Vedana Sanya Sankara Vijnana part. If you take another example, Kema. Kema was one of the queens of, I think, Bimbisar, King Bimbisar. And then she was very much thinking about her beauty. So when she came to the temple, the Buddha created a lady who was fanning the Buddha. And then he let her get, I would say, get old slowly, age slowly. And she was looking at this particular lady. And then finally she understood things are changing. That means for that kind of a person, it is not working for her to sit down and listen to a normal Dhamma talk. So Buddha understands different people. In this case, this particular monk, he looked at body and how what is happening to the body as the main thing. That's how he was able to understand life and especially everything, samsara. Yes, please.
Thank you, Bhante. Bhante, just what's the difference, right? Understanding change from just from a scientific viewpoint, like everybody can say everything's like subject to change, nothing's permanent. But how come, we are not enlightened knowing this so-called nature of or the truth that everybody can say, oh, of course, everything's impermanent, nothing stays the same. But how come we are not enlightened with this knowledge? What is the extra thing that takes us to maybe Kema or Patachara's enlightenment? What are we lacking that we can't really, like the aha moment, that we actually need to realize? Thank you, Bhante.
I think it's something like our own experience rather than taking it as a knowledge point all the time. Say, for instance, understanding our own mother, especially if you are a lady, the first time you are delivering a baby, you are understanding how much pain that your mother may have gone through. And until that time, you see, yeah, it's painful. But you understand it a little differently at that point, right? And then, say, for instance, the moment someone is becoming a father moment, first time. Until that time, yeah, I know my father and I know all this, but that moment, I think it's more towards tapping into a certain personal, highly, what do you call, a very personal experience about it. Now, Patachara's case was very much personal. Now, say, for instance, many people are dying, but what if somebody who is in our life going to die? How does it affect us? Definitely, it's a different experience, right? We say, yeah, he's dying. But when that happens to someone who we really know, that is a different experience, right? So what I understand is that understanding anicca dukkha anatta may be a knowledge-based thing at the beginning to all of us. But when the incidents, events about anicca dukkha anatta happen to us in our personal life only, we will understand them very much differently. And after some time of those departures of our loved ones, we will understand it very, very wisely, maybe. So it's more about this individual personal experience, going beyond knowing from a Dhamma talk, maybe from a book, maybe from somebody's death. So I think it's like kind of what do you call this internalization, internalizing the real true phenomenon. Until that time, it's kind of externalization until it becomes internalized. But it won't be internalized unless I create my own conditions to become internalized. Right? So those conditions must happen in our life. Sometimes there are some people who don't need that much internalization because they are beyond normal people's understanding. Right? So yeah, so it's more about this internalizing things. Sometimes we don't want to internalize, but things are happening so that we have no choice not to be internalized. So that's how we look at it. Now, along the same line, maybe we can ask a different question. there is somebody who listened to a Dhamma talk, attain Nibbana. We are listening to the same topic 100 times. Why we are not getting enlightened? Tell me. Why is it? Now we know in many stories, say for instance, we can say one story like Anathapindika's son, Kala. Okay, think about someone who went to the temple, listened to a Dhamma talk just to get some money from the father. How many of you have gone to a temple to get money from somebody? You have never gone to a temple thinking that somebody will give me money upon my return to the house. But Anathapindika thought, my son is not engaging in the temple. So he thought, okay, I should come up with a very smart plan. I know my son is more towards money. And then he said one day, okay, I know you won't like it, but I have a plan. I give you this much money if you go to the temple. No problem, it's money. He went, and then he sat down somewhere in the Dhamma hall, and he came back and asked, Father, give me the money. He got the money. Then second day, now father had a very smart idea. See, he cannot ask directly go and learn something in the first place. He said, okay, tomorrow can you go again to the temple, Jetwanarama, and then listen to the Dhamma talk, but learn at least one Dhamma thing and tell me after you come home. No problem. I doubled the price. I doubled the money. He said, yeah, that's a good plan. And then he went, he sat down. That day, Buddha is giving a Dhamma talk in the Dhamma talk hall. So he sat down somewhere in front, and he wants to learn the first Dhamma thing he's talking, just only want to take it and then forget about all the other Dhamma things throughout the Dhamma talk. So the Buddha saw. So he made a determination, the Buddha made a determination, make Kala, Anathapindika's son, not able to memorize one Dhamma thing in my Dhamma talk. May he get to learn everything, every section of my Dhamma talk throughout the Dhamma. So he could not focus on one particular Dhamma thing. So he listened to the whole part of the Dhamma talk. Actually, there are some people who go to a Dhamma talk, only take one part of the Dhamma talk, come back home thinking, why did the Dhamma talk not help me? It's true, like you are like Kala. So try to understand the whole Dhamma talk. I mean, there are maybe interesting parts. And then what happened? Finally, he became a Sotapanna. The person who went to the Jetwanarama just to get some money from the father becomes Sotapanna. On the following day, the Buddha came to Anathapindika's house and he gave a Dhamma talk. And then Anathapindika is going to give that money in front of the Buddha. He didn't know what happened. So then after the Dana finished, I think after the Dhamma talk finished, after Dana, he said, son, this is the money that I promised to give you. Then he said something very interesting. That particular stanza also in the Dhammapada. Patavya eka rajjena saggassa gamanenava sabba lokadipachena sotapatti palang. Father, patavya eka rajjena. If somebody is going to give me the whole universe, tell him that you are the king you are the emperor, you are the universal monarch of the whole universe. Saggassa gamanenava. If somebody guarantee that I would go to heaven. Sabba lokadipachena. If somebody gives any other thing in this whole universe. For me, all these are inferior because I have already attained Sotapatti. Sotapatti palanvara. Now the question here is that someone who has no thought about going to a temple, no thought about going to learn Dhamma, how come he was able to attain that much of enlightenment? Why is it? It is not because that somebody used to go to the temple. It is because that person's sansaric kusala activities is number one. Number two is that he was able to internalize even within that short time. Right? So that's how I think the same question can be referred to this thing too. The thing is that some people are not able to understand it because they have sansaric problems. Akusalas are trying to stop them. They are listening to Dhamma talk, but they cannot digest. And the other thing is that Buddha was the one who gave the Dhamma talk. He knew how to give the Dhamma talk. Okay? So that is also that is the main trigger point in that. All right. Any more questions? Are we going to
One
transfer
thing
the
one way is that the experience is so personal until we realize that we're actually personalizing the vice khandas. That's why we're suffering so much that maybe with that some wisdom will arise, can cut off. It's so personal that they realize that they
I think
can
rather than
personalize.
I think we create clinging by personalizing the khanda. But rather than personalizing, it is better to internalizing with anatta about what's happening to me. Because the moment I'm trying to internalize, I have to think that I exist. Right? I have to feel this I exist for a moment. But I have to understand I exist within the provisions of anatta. And I have to bring that too before I bring the internalization of the personal events into me. So that's why anatta has to work all the time. Otherwise, everything that we are trying to internalize will become another clinging. Right? Yes. All right. I think we almost come to the time. At this point, we want to summarize today. We discussed about what do you call the third stanza of the Pupa Vagga. Now, this stanza came to the Vagga chapter on flowers because it mentions about flowers, but flowers come not in a nice way. It's about Mara's flowers. So we have to cut the garland of Mara. Mara's flowers are about Sankharas. Sankhara means the nature of asking every section being to be reborn and reborn. So it is to be in the Sankhara world. So the Buddha is asking to cut it. How to cut it? By cutting the clinging part onto the 5 aggregates. The first 2 lines are about Rupa, but what is implied in that Rupa part is that mind part, Nama part. Rupa, Nama go together. Rupa cannot exist without Nama. Nama cannot exist without Rupa. Rupa, Nama work in tandem, work together. So the thing is that when different people understand life, they are more to the Rupa. When other people are understanding life, they are more to the Nama. But whichever the way they understand, they have to take the other part. That's how they are going to make their way. Okay. So may all the good karmas that we've been making today by learning about Dhammapada's 46 stanza. It's going to be 46 stanza. Be transferred to all the departed ones who passed away in the name of all of us. May they be well and happy. May they attain the supreme bliss of Nibbana. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. Idam me jnathinam huntu sukita huntu jnatayo. Idam me jnathinam huntu sukita huntu jnatayo. Idam me jnathinam huntu sukita huntu jnatayo. Devanaga Mahitika should deserve lots of good karmas. May all our good karmas be received by Devanaga Mahitika. May they be well and happy. May they continue to bless and protect us for good health, quality of life, prosperity, and safety. May they in particular bless our Dhamma journey. May our Dhamma journey become a seamless, constant Dhamma journey. May they be well and happy. May they attain supreme bliss of Nibbana. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. Ettavatacha amhehe sambatang punya sampadang sabbe deva anumodantu sabba sampatti siddhya. Ettavatacha amhehe sambatang punya sampadang sabbe bhuta anumodantu sabba sampatti siddhya. Ettavatacha amhehe sambatang punya sampadang Sabe satta anumodantu sabba sampatti siddhya Akasattha Chandimata Devanaga Mahittika Punyantang Anumoditva Chirang Rakhang Sasanang Akasattha Chandimata Devanaga Mahittika Punyantang Anumoditva Chirang Rakhang Sasanang Akasattha Chandimata Devanaga Mahittika Punyantang anumoditva chirang rakhang tumang paranti chirang rakhang tumang sadanti. Next is the Dhamma wish. Our Dhamma wish is always to be surrounded with Kalyana Mitras. Kalyana Mitras are very important in our Dhamma life. May we be able to keep this accomplishment of Kalyana Mitra, noble friendship, all the way to Nibbana. Okay, thus we're going to make the wish. Imina punya kammena mami bala samagamu satang samagamu yavani nibbana patiyam. Finally, may all the good karmas we've been creating by understanding this particular Dhammapada stanza about Nama Rupa and then the aggregates Panchakanda and clinging Pada and what to do, what is to be done, what is necessary to be done. May all these insights create lots of good karmas and may they be supportive and helpful for all of us to attain the supreme bliss of Nibbana. Sadhu, sadhu. Abhivadana silis nichang baddha pachainu chattaru dhamma baddhanti ayuvan sukhang balan ayurarogya sampatti sagga sampatti mevacha ato nibbana sampatti iminati samikshatu. Sadhu, sadhu. With that blessing, would like to wish you a good night, pleasant night, till we see you next Thursday.
Thank you, Bhante.
Thank you, Bhante.
Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu.
Thank you, Bhante.
Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu.
Good night.
Good night, Bhante.
Everyone.
Thank
you,
Bhante.
Thank you, Bhante.
Sadhu, sadhu.
Sadhu, sadhu,
Thank you,
sadhu.
Bhante. Thank you.
Thank you, and take
Thanks
care,
for
everybody. Bye.
bye. Thank you.
Thank you, Bhante. Happy New Year.
Yeah. Bye bye.
Thank you, Bhante. Sadhu, sadhu,
Bye.
sadhu.
Yes.